Do not buy Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This game has so much hype around it, and a couple days ago, when the embargo was up, a lot of reviewers were raving that it's the best Star Wars game ever, with big flashy combat, a dark story, new environments, and so I was incredibly excited for it. I bought a copy of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I actually paid the $70 to get it for PlayStation 5. So last night, when the game technically released, at midnight, I start to look at Twitter, and everybody is saying the game is completely unplayably busted on Xbox Series X, especially on PC, and even on the PlayStation 5. So let's take a look at specifically what the heck is going on. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I want to start things off actually with the famous reviewer ACG. He says this: public service announcement. As it stands, all platforms of Star Wars Jedi Survivor have massive performance issues and bugs, with crashing even occurring occasionally on consoles. This impacts the story, the gameplay, the fun factor, the audio, the everything. This is not just a PC thing. Patches are incoming. Yes, patches are indeed always incoming. That's how patches work. But that's not good enough. This game is not even close to working. It's the most broken game I've seen since Days Gone. Now, what's crazy is that in the middle of this, he's referring to this. As soon as this game was about to come out, Electronic Arts, I think they knew the game was very, very broken, so they released this very vague statement saying, hey, the game's about to come out, we're excited for you to experience it. Our first patch will arrive on launch day, which we're going to talk about in a second, and it will actually have bug fixes, improved performance, and add more accessibility features. Now, here's the thing. This is apparently the first of many patches. Apparently, a bunch of reviewers actually got the game last week. They've had the game for about 10 total days, and in that time, they've already rolled out multiple patches to try and fix a game that's just understandably and obviously unfinished. But I want to go back to his tweet here because he says this: at this time, the actual game itself is severely impacted across all platforms by technical problems and impacts everything from story beats to voiceovers. Now, he says the game is fun, but the caveat is so massive that the issues are so noticeable that the fun factor is massively diminished. And I wanted to show this tweet to start with in this video because we do have one of those replies you typically see. I installed the game from a disc with the patch included. I'm 3 hours into the game on PlayStation 5 and it runs great and looks amazing. I've not encountered any problems. Well, there you have it. Today's gaming in a nutshell. This is good to hear. This is one thing that definitely happens, which is that one person doesn't care about glitches, or one person gets lucky and doesn't encounter as many problems, and so they kind of hand wave away severe, giant technical issues. Now, this is very widespread. On every console right now, people are actually discussing the fact that on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, I'm a few hours into the game. First planet didn't have many issues, but I'm now onto the second planet and having tons of problems. Constant frame rate drops, scenes are glitching out and repeating, textures not loading properly. We need that day one patch. Now, this is especially crazy because everybody starts replying and saying, yeah, this is the day one patch. This is as good as the game is going to look, is, a weird in between of 40 to 45 frames per second. It's insane to me that this game is just so unfinished. People are actually saying that specifically. What is with these AAA publishers releasing completely broken games for $70? I think it is building up a sense of distrust. Now, some people are probably saying, okay, well, it has a little bit bad frame rate. It can't be that crazy. I've got a supercomputer. I mean, if I have a $5,000 computer, it's got to run good, right? I mean, sure, it may have some issues, but it'll be pretty stable. Apparently not. This is Mutahar, some ordinary gamers. This guy has a $6,000 PC. Truly consider that. He has a top-of-the-line graphics card. He has a top-of-the-line ultra-performance everything. He has the best of the best of the best of every single piece of his entire very, very pricey rig. And it is not even barely running. This is actually running at low graphics with ray tracing off, and it can't manage to hit 60 frames a second. How? Literally, how is that even possible? This has got to be one of the worst optimized games ever. People are actually saying it's worse than Arkham Knight, which was famously broken at launch. It's insane to me that every single person is downloading these patches and it's still not fixing it. Low frames per second, poor performance. The game will literally tell you that it's about to be broken by skipping story elements. Gamers keep spending their money on games that are supposed to perform well, but instead we get unfinished crap like this. Enough is enough. Now, to be partially credit here to Rebs Gaming, in my opinion, Rebs is an incredibly nice guy. I think sometimes he actually gives games too much credit. I have never seen Rebs Gaming tweet negatively about a game that didn't deserve it. This is actually kind of insane to me. Like, if this dude is pissed at your game, it's time to actually take a reality check. Now, what initially tipped me off about this is because, honestly, people are just kind of saying, even when it does actually work, the game looks a little bit off. Even if you turn off motion blur and film grain, the game itself just seems a bit funky. And it's now actually more hated than The Last of Us PC port, which is currently one of the lowest rated games of the entire year. I wanted to go over to Steam itself and take a look at it because I was kind of curious. Okay, it can't be that hated, right? Nope. 1,500 reviews, all of them pretty dang negative. Now look at this. This is insane. Some people are saying the game literally won't even start. So far, the loading screen is pretty okay. I have no idea what it's like past that title screen because it doesn't load past it. This guy literally cannot play the game he paid $70 for. Imagine, like, I feel the most bad right now for Star Wars fans, because imagine those people who care about the lore, who care about the universe, who care about this character Cal Kestis, and you actually boot it up and it just doesn't work. Just straight up does not work. I would be absolutely furious. You see, I'm obsessed with Star Trek. I have a big Star Trek tattoo on my arm and stuff, which is perfectly being covered up by the mic, but it's right here. Look, I'm obsessed with Star Trek. If they came out with a Star Trek game that's a complete broken mess, that doesn't work, that is disrespectful to the source material, I'd be absolutely furious. Now, you may be actually looking at these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reviews and saying, okay, these jokes about saying it's a PC hog or that it's going to break your stuff, it doesn't affect me because I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to have a good time. I'll enjoy it at 30 frames a second. I talk a lot about vote with your wallet. I think it is important not to buy this game until it is in a playable state. Electronic Arts is going to fix it eventually. If you already bought it like I did, I'm sure the game is actually going to be a good product in a couple weeks. But I think it is important to day one tell these people this stuff needs to work now. If the release date is April 28th, then on April freaking 28th, I should be able to put a disc directly in my console and play the game at 60 frames a second without crashes, without corrupted save files. That should be the bare minimum. We are now on the 10th generation of consoles. It's insane to think about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X already being out for 2 years, but I mean, truly consider that. How are we in the era where EA is still making big AAA games that feel rushed when they have a billion-dollar budget? I apologize to the Star Wars fans out there. Y'all are getting hung out to dry. And you know what? I feel like stuff like this, they knew it would sell. They knew that if they threw it out there, somebody would buy it and they'd make their money back. And this kind of stuff actually does deeply irk me. I bought it because the Metacritic was high, and now I regret it because the Steam reviews are low. Ain't that bada bitch? Well, what do you guys think about Star Wars Jedi Survivor? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And please, like the video, subscribe, and keep dreaming. What a gigantic L. Another EAL. But I guess on Monday, I'm going to be doing a gigantic review for Redfall on the Xbox Series X. And I'm afraid that game's not even going to hit 30 frames a second very consistently, but we're going to find out, right? Ugh. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.